Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in today. This is the third interview by All India Runners Motivation, a platform for all runners to tell their stories. This is the third interview. The first interview was with Olympian Nitendra Singh Rawat. The second interview was with trainer, runner, Ms. Indra Ghosh. And I'm very happy to bring in my guest today, which is Mandeep Doon. And he's a runner, ultra runner, and motivator. When I say ultra marathon, it is not like only 50 kilometers. The distances what he has covered is up to 333 kilometers. And that is what makes this interaction special. So please listen to what he has to say. Most importantly, also, if you've got questions on ultra marathon, on running and ultra running, please do put in the questions so we can ask during question time. So without further ado, let me bring in Mr. Mandeep Doon. Good evening, Mr. Mandeep. How are you?
Hi, Rajesh. Thank you so much for such an impressive introduction. Even I was taken aback, yeah.
You're welcome. Your record say for itself. So it's not me doing the introduction. It's what you have achieved till now, which makes the introduction really good. So welcome again, and thank you for agreeing for this interview. I know you told me that you're a bit media shy, so I hope we make you more comfortable.
Thank you for having me here, Rajesh.
Okay. We've got a few people coming in now. Around 13, 14 people have just joined in. We'll be having more joining in. And just a question, because when I started researching about you, there is not much information apart from your running. So just tell the viewers a bit about yourself and where you are from, and yeah, just a bit about yourself, please.
I'm a middle-aged man, right, with a receding hairline and with a loving family and full support of family.
Okay.
Also, I'm thankful for extended support of extended family and friends who have become like family over a period of time.
Okay.
Right. And for my livelihood, I work for an IT company.
Okay.
And as a hobby, I do run and read books.
Okay. That's nice.
So this could inspire a lot of people who are receding hairline to follow the footsteps.
So yeah, what type of books do you read, if I may ask you?
Anything and everything, preferably books on sports, autobiographies, non-fiction.
Okay.
But then recommend me a good book and I am game.
Okay, that's nice. We got few people saying hello to you, Mr. Rajat Banerjee, Mr. Ramesh Shukla, Mr. Sikandar Lamba, who's a barefoot runner. We got Naveen Huda, Praveen Sharma, who was coming in, saying hello to you guys.
Hello, friends, and thank you for listening.
Okay. So tell us a bit about your running journey. When did it start? What made you start running?
So I would like to quote, and this is a stolen quote, right? So Dr. Chauhan generally says, human species as a sperm, we all ran to be born, right? And hence we are born to run.
Okay.
So I feel running, just like walking, is an integral part of being human. And this being human has nothing to do with Salman Khan. It's a disclaimer here.
Okay.
But then, yes, then over a period, see, you don't teach a kid how to run, how to walk, and how to talk.
Yeah.
It's only over a period of time, probably in your 20s and late 20s, when we all start loving the couch more and start getting inactive.
Yeah.
And it's that break we have to overcome and bring in inertia to come back to any physical activity. In my case, it happened to be running. So for past 6-7 years, from 2013, I've been regularly running.
Okay.
Right. And as a hobby, I'm not a competitive runner. So that's again a disclaimer.
Your hobby has taken you to great heights, I would say, as a runner, and that's a compliment to what you're doing. So 5-6 years back it started, right?
Yes.
Okay. And any inspiration during that time you felt, okay, fine, as a runner, whom did you follow at that time, or any group you had?
No, actually, my wife has been my motivation. She used to run half marathons, and I, like a good husband, used to go to drop her to those half marathons. And
Wonderful.
then, and then at some point in time, it kicked me ki I should also start doing at least something. And seeing her, I started running.
Oh,
But
wonderful.
as far as having a coach or is concerned, I have a mentor more than coach. He's my uncle, and for be it any subject under the sun, I take
Okay.
his advice, and especially on running or nutrition or anything, I
Okay.
go back to him, and I want love to refer and discuss with him on issues.
So when you put in this thought of running to your uncle, what was the general advice he gave you?
Go slow, take it step by step, and
Okay.
see whether you enjoy it or not, right? And just start, have a discipline, take it easy. And that is how it began. And slowly you realize either you like a thing which you have started doing or you don't like it.
Okay.
And those are clues enough for an individual to decide whether you want to continue doing a thing or not. So
Okay.
then this running caught on to me.
That's nice. I mean, that's the same advice I give to anyone who wants to buy a jogging machine or a treadmill. And I say, first do it, walk, do something, for 1 month, then invest in a treadmill. Otherwise, generally, it's there to hang clothes after some time. When people invest so much of money and they stop using the treadmill. So I guess your
Yeah,
uncle advised you really well.
I'm grateful to him.
Okay. We got a few more people coming in. Shobha Jaglian, Dinesh Kumar, Vishal Guera, Guleria, Yadav Gopal, Nimesh, Nischint Katoch, all saying hello to you. Yeah, your first marathon or first long distance run, how many kilometers was it?
It was 75 kilometers in Chavadli.
First one. That's the first one. Okay.
Long distance, more than
Okay.
42, right?
And before that, I mean, you just say when you started your running, right, 2014, which was
Mm-hmm.
the first major run you participated in?
Delhi half marathon.
Delhi Half Marathon. Oh, wonderful. And how was it?
That because I had to push for it. The body
Okay.
wasn't listening to mind, wasn't listening to body, right? It was a perpetual war out there. And then I could see people floating so easily, gliding across me. So
Yeah.
you felt, what have I done to myself? But then you take a lot of learnings back from those runs and you introspect.
Yeah, I think Delhi Marathon, there is a place where you feel lonely. But when you reach India Gate, suddenly there is a lot of music, a lot of people around, and you get more motivated after that.
And yeah, that is there. And Delhi is in full josh. So every runner out there is in Josh, and so it's a good festive atmosphere for runners at least.
Yeah. Any learnings you learned from there, which you took, you took to your second race in the race forward from the first marathon, first half marathon?
Yeah, I became regular. So first one was after 1 month of preparation. So I was limping in first half marathon. After
Okay.
that, I decided if at least I have to do something, then I first need to inculcate discipline.
Okay.
That is the first step in doing something. I became
Okay.
more disciplined, and incremental benefits in the body are very early. In these stages, at least, you get a lot of incremental benefits. And you
Okay.
realize ki 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, these marks becomes much more easier.
Yeah.
So discipline was the first learning.
Discipline was the first learning. We have one very senior runner who runs marathon, Mr. Kiran Pal Singh Dodi from Bombay, who is saying hello to you. And Mr. Yeah,
Hello, sir.
so he just said hello to you. So marathon, then you suddenly decided that, okay, fine, after marathon or half marathon, you're going to do ultra marathon. What made you make that choice?
Okay, so that's little difficult, but then see, I did my first marathon in Ladakh in 2015, right? And that place has some energy about it. So once I finished that half marathon, I I was told there's something called as Khardungla Challenge, which is 72 kilometers.
Okay.
And then I decided if I have to do an ultra, then Khardungla Challenge has to be the next one.
Okay.
And I started preparing for it. And since even this high altitude thing, I'd already felt during the full marathon. So I knew what lies ahead, right?
Okay.
So I thought, let me go and run Javadu first, because Javadu had a category for 75 kilometers.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a test run, and Javadu used to happen 1 month before Khardungla Challenge.
Okay.
So it was more of preparation for Khardungla Challenge. I landed up doing my first ultra in Javadu.
Okay. So all the way from north, you came down to south to run the Javadu.
Yeah.
Okay. So must have been a different experience for you. Was that your first trail run?
That was my first trail run. That was my first ultra marathon.
Okay.
And the experience was phenomenal, beyond words. I'm so happy I could do that race in 2016, because it's unlike any other event in the country, honestly, Javadu. Yeah. Because kind of volunteers you see, the kind of voluntary participation in helping to conduct that event is unmatched. And the whole festive atmosphere is there, and people camping in tents and all. For me, this was for the first time in India. I saw the people actually are putting up in camps or staying in a small school, which Javadu organizers open it for you, right? And so, and then that forest is beautiful.
Okay.
It was beyond expectation, honestly, and I had no pressure because it wasn't an event I was looking to. So I enjoyed every step of that race.
Yeah, I can see that you enjoyed it because you got a podium finish, right?
That was incidental.
Incidental. You're being too kind to yourself.
That was incidental.
How did you feel when your first ultra marathon? You got a time of 9 hours 11 minutes and a podium finish. How was it?
See, podium finish was a surprise, but that run, I told myself I have to enjoy every bit of it. So honestly, I was in a what you call as runner's high, because there was no pressure. I was enjoying. I was chatting with people, helping people, right? Fellow runners were falling on ultra trail, so picking them up, trying to boost each other's morale. And then podium finish, yes, definitely came as a pleasant surprise, because I had no expectation from that race.
Okay. How many months did you train for this?
I think 3 months.
3 months. So how was it? How was the ultra marathon running different from a marathon for you? What are the major differences apart from mileage, of course?
So see, difference between marathons and ultra marathons is something what Harry Potter books do. If you have read Harry Potter books, they have something called sorting hats. Right? It is the sorting hat which allocates the house to the child.
Yes.
So it is the ultra marathon which chooses which runner has to come and run in that race, because fraternity is so small. And at times you keep on planning for years and those races don't happen and you end up landing in some other race.
Okay.
So I've always believed it is the other way around. It is this ultra marathon gives you a chance to run. Whereas marathons and half marathons, you can pick and choose, right? It's little much easier to participate in them.
Yeah.
Secondly, in ultra marathons, you will find all eccentric people who have something or the other to prove to themselves, to the world, or to challenge themselves to find out their own limits.
Yeah.
So ultra marathons at any given point in time are much more enjoyable and fun.
Okay. That's nice. The thing is that, Soumya Chandra is saying, interesting comparison to Harry Potter. So the Harry Potter comment, people liked it. Yeah, I have a house full of Harry Potter fans. My family is, I've seen Harry Potter many times. So, and there's always a comparison between the book and the movie, always.
Likewise, in my family, it's been both books and movies. We all are watching it n number of times.
Yeah, So it's nice. When you say eccentric people coming into ultra marathons, I remember one of your comments is where you said that it's like meditation for you. So
Right.
are all ultra marathons, are marathon runners like in that meditative state when they are running?
Okay, so not always in a meditative state, but then that experience can be meditative, right?
Okay.
I'll be very honest, these all might seem very hunky-dory from outside, ki finishing X number of races, X number of ultras, but we all end up abusing our bodies to hilt, go through a lot of pain. And at the end of the day, when we cross the finish line, these stories are much more fun to share and describe. But
Okay.
while running, we all ultra runners feel for each other, feel for each other's pain,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And we have our own stories and to share when we run because it's a very small fraternity out there, 50 odd Indian runners making it to all other most of the events on rotation basis. So we
Okay.
all are like family to each other, right? So
Okay.
be it exchanging notes or so, but then yes, during the runs, yes, it is meditative, but then it's also like a meditation in hell.
Ah. It's not always monk like.
Yeah. So you
I mean,
go
I
there
got
without your Ferrari.
a,
You go there as a monk who doesn't have has his Ferrari. Yeah.
yeah, and in the end, you might grow a beard also like a monk, right? So,
Beard is thanks to COVID times.
no, I mean, Amit Ahuja is saying, I know Mandeep since 11 years, and his strong determination, hard work is what brought him to this level. So, he's really proud of your whatever you have achieved. And we also have one of our senior coaches who has come in, Prabhakar Rao, who is big time runner and a coach now, who has just joined in. And we also have got Lieutenant Commander Vijay Nair from Bombay also tuning in. And
Hello.
they just said hello to you. So I would say you are a true ultra marathoner because you have done, I would say, uh, trail, you have done snow, you have done desert, road also. Yes. Any particular favorites for you?
Rajesh, you are being very kind in this interview by saying true ultra marathoner, which I am not. Right? See,
I
because
mean,
I say so because being true is being larger than self and it's for a cause, right? And see, I just run ultra marathons. The day I move to helping people or contributing in race as true, which we Indians have very less concept of,
yeah,
that is where then you become a true marathon, ultra marathon for the cause, right?
sure.
But then yes, I've been lucky to have on run. Yeah, I've had the chance to run on all the landscapes what nature provides in at least in India,
Yeah.
trail, desert, and mountains, right? And all three are beautiful in their own sense.
Okay.
Although that might sound like a diplomatic answer, but then ask any marathoner, being running in Ladakh is so much different than running in Javadu or Run the Run and then running in desert in Rajasthan.
Yeah.
But having said that, if I were to choose between one, then yes, I've been going back to mountains again and again. So Ladakh happens to be the place for me, and I'm grateful for that. Ki Ladakh has love for love of Ladakh for me continues.
I mean, yeah, that was my next question because you seem to be in love with Ladakh and you have participated in many races, especially the LA Ultra. It's as if like you got a place already booked up every year for that in Ladakh, and you participated in 111. You participated in 333 kilometers. I mean, why do you like this race so much? Which makes you? And I know that you said that the love for mountains, but why do you like it so much?
Okay, so I'll break it into two parts. First part, ki we have been going back to Ladakh, right? So, see, when we embark on any journey, it's not that we all start and we can foresee the future saying ki I'll be an ultra marathoner 1 year.
Yeah.
I started with half, graduated to full, and then maybe first step towards ultra. And then you start enjoying certain things, right? Some of things you'll stop doing, and certain other things you'll continue to do. In my case, somehow after 35, 40 years of my age, I realized I'm enjoying running, and I'm thankful I got to know that. Right?
Okay.
Otherwise, it was like a rudderless ship. I could have passed on so many things. So one thing leads to another. These are all steps.
Yeah.
When I went for marathon, we came to know there's Khardungla challenge. When we finished Khardungla challenge, then friends came up and said there's La Ultra, which happens 111. In La Ultra, there was a bunch of 9 civilians, honestly. To answer your question, why we love that race, that year, 2017, I guess, there was that race, there was more of participation from services. So Indian Navy, Air Force, or Indian Army used to have a bigger lot. Yeah. And first time there were 9 civilians, and we all were considered rookies. Okay. Nobody was even betting on us, forget saying we would finish the race. And trust me, those 9, all 9 of them finished that race, if I rightly remember. I may be wrong with maybe one of them, but I remember all 9 of us finishing it to our utter surprise. Forget others, forget the race organizers and all. And that is where our love for La Ultra began, because you realize how difficult it is, what an experience it is. Okay. And then next year we had 2 options: either participate in 222, and by the time you also, or go for 333. Okay. By the time you also realize this is an addiction. If I could participate in 222, next year we'll again come for 333.
333, okay.
Come what may, because now you've started enjoying that suffering and fun experience you have, not only of the race, but from the time you board the plane to the time you come back home. We see the whole part as a journey. So 4 of us decided let's give 333 a shot. Yeah. Unfortunately, only 2 of us could stand on the starting line of 333. The third friend was in 222, and 4th one could not participate. And then, so 3-3 was the ultimate, but then the organizers were smart enough. This year they had 5-5-5.
Yes, I was about to say that. So I don't know, Mr. Chauhan, the paint doctor. That's what I think his nickname is. Where it will end for him, right? 5-5-5 के बाद क्या आने वाला है? So it's amazing that you are able to do that.
Oh, I was just lucky to have a good team and good co-runners, honestly. See, one thing we all must understand: ultra running beyond distances is all about teamwork. Yeah. And your co-runners, whom with you. So, see, running is the simplest part in ultra running marathon, especially these 3-3-3 multi-day runs. As a runner, you just have to focus on running or keep moving, because at times, most of the times we walk also, especially in mountains, it's not always easy to run. But then it is the team. Runner might be the face of the whole event, right? By finishing, you get all the claps and accolades. But then it is the team who selflessly helps you to achieve what you set out to. And without them, it is impossible to achieve those targets. Because you don't know what you want to eat. You are hallucinating. You are tired, right? They have to ensure. It's like what Dr. Chauhan says. It's like a Formula 1 race. Yeah. You are just driving, but the captain is in the cockpit. He's the one who decides when the refueling has to happen, when tires have to be changed, right? You listen this for the first time, you sounded what is he talking about? But over a period of time, when you go through these experiences, you realize he's making a lot of sense. Yeah. So it's all about team events, actually. So La Ultra has been close to heart because we have been to Ladakh again and again. Okay. And it's a good event to be in.
It's amazing that you go from 10,000 feet to 18,000 and back and up, and also varying temperatures, right, from -10 to 40 degrees plus. So you actually undergo the body undergoes all the seasons possible for a person in this run, right?
Right. So what I'll say is we have been, Rajesh, very lucky. We never saw minus 10 degree temperatures in 2 years of my participation in La Ultra.
Okay.
But this year, all the runners actually saw minus 10 degree. It was all layered with snow. Yes. Okay. And then they saw the sun also. So that extreme variation, I and my partners or other runners who have been very lucky. We could finish. But this year, the conditions were actually really tough for all the runners.
Okay. I mean, when it is minus 10 degrees and snow on the ground, how do you move forward?
So this year I was a crew to Praveen, one of my friends who was participating in 555 and a very accomplished runner in his own self. So trust me, it was snowing. It was snowstorm out there. I am being a runner myself. I could not have gathered enough courage to get out of the car to support him. But I don't know what was driving him and other runners. Ashish from Pune, he and other runners, they all were continuously walking when their feet was going into half a feet of snow and it was all drenched. There must be some
inner spirit,
determination and inner spirit these guys have. Hats off to them.
Okay. There is somebody who was asked a question. He says that he wants to be a ultra runner and how should he start? So that's a training question. I'll just come back to you on that. But my question to you, one training question is this, that since you are an expert in LA Ultra and you want to give advice for anyone who wants to train for, say, for example, the 333, okay, what advice and recommendations would you give when it comes to running?
See, 333 is both mental and physical thing. So prepare well, mentally be strong, and have a good good crew team. That's very, very important, right?
Okay.
Because crew team will nurture you like a child during your run. They should know your simple things like from your mood swings to what you like to eat, how to pep you up, how to support you. So that is one part nobody tells you, and you go out there with a new crew and you realize how difficult it is. So better you plan, the better and in detail you plan for with your crew. It will help them to help you during the race.
Okay. When it comes to running, what type of training should they do actually, so that they'll be comfortable running the 333? How many months and how many any average mileage in a week?
See, that would depend on runner to runner. Let's not put numbers to them. So there can be, to each to his own, there can be very smart training where you do a lot of strength training and do fast running. There can be other runner who does a lot of mileage and still achieve the same goal. And so, right, so it depends on what as a runner would suit you personally. So I would say don't take any advices, because it's like every individual is different, so is every runner different. For example, Amit Chaudhary is one of the most aggressive runners, right? If you run with him, by the time you finish 10, he would have finished 40 kilometers. But then you need to realize he's intrinsically very fast runner. It's not that he just can't run slow. That is him, right? Whereas I might be like a tortoise. I'll do 10, 10, 10, 10. So he might finish it in 10 hours and I might finish it in 15 hours. So finally, first figure out what kind of runner or individual you are and then match those trainings. But then for 333 or anything, have a strong base, which will help you to go for those miles. Without base, if you think 3 or 4 months of training will lead you to those, no. For us also, it took 4 years to reach that point. So for somebody might do it, somebody might do it in 2 years or 1 year, but then fundamental rule is have a strong base, strong legs where you have covered a lot of miles, and then for 3 months you peak your body for that particular event.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, I'll just change the question. Say that what is Mandeep Doon's running program for a 333?
So Mandeep Doon's running program. So he is the guy who did the good friend and first Indian to finish 3:33. Both me and Munish used, see, since both of us are working and we have office hours and family to attend to. As a rule, our run used to start at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock at night. So by the time people and families wake up, we would pack up and we would be back at home to attend to family. Right? As simple as that. So Saturday, Sundays were long run days, so 5 hours, 6 hours on feet. And gradually they were built up. It's not that the first week only we started running 5-6 hours. But then, yes, during that all training for 3:33, we were very disciplined. And Saturday, Sunday runs, 1 o'clock, both of us used to meet and we used to run through night.
Okay. That's nice. So I'm sure the audience has got us an idea of your training program. And as said, there's a disclaimer. Yet it's there for every person is different, and they have to follow their own guidelines. But it's nice to have some guideline from you. So the next question is this: that nutrition for such races. How do you train yourself? When it comes to nutrition and food intake.
Yeah, what are the things you do? Our fundamental belief has been eat whole food or natural food, whatever so we avoid processed food. But then over a period of time, what we have realized is there are certain things in these multi-day runs you have to have. For example, certain gels as an SOS, right? We keep it where we need it. But then whatever you want to try, please start doing it in your training runs only. That would help. Don't surprise body by trying something new during the runs. Rule is as simple as that. Whatever you would love to eat, please start trying it. More you try it, more you'll come to know about your own body. It's only hit and trial and by experimentation, right? And see, there is no dearth of marketing products in the market, but try and avoid them. Try and use local things because we are not professional athletes. See, one need to understand very categorically a difference between runner by hobby and competitive athletes. See, they compete at the top level with the top talent. Whereas, let's say for Mandeep Doon, it's a very run which I do it for myself, which gives me more pleasure, right? It's me challenging myself or a couple of friends. We enjoy that process and journey. So please try to be as close to nature by eating fruits, whatever carbs you like, proteins you prefer. Taking those costly proteins won't help much beyond a point. Right? There's a lot of things available in nature and use that.
That's nice. I mean, so how long do you think before the race should you start experimenting with food as per you?
2-3 months at least.
2-3 months.
Yeah, because as a principle, you need to remember while running, your taste also changes. First day you might like Maggi or rice. Second day, suddenly you will ask for something which even your crew cannot get it for you, right?
Okay, fine. So, I mean, 2-3 months, even the gel intake and everything has to be trained during that time?
Yeah, it should be. It would help you.
When you run LA Ultra, one is that the oxygen levels are very low, so around 40% oxygen levels, right?
Right.
How does one train for, to breathe during such circumstances? For a better lung capacity, what are the things you should do?
The best training is if somebody can go to higher altitude place, let's say a month before. That is the ideal situation. Right? But then in world, you don't get the ideal situations. Being working and families and other responsibilities. So generally, it's better to keep on training, but then include sprints in your run so that your lung capacity expands to breathe in oxygen and process the oxygen. Finally, see, it's lungs are working overtime to ensure processing of oxygen at high altitude. So small sprints or what runners call fart legs or those fancy words, but in simple, challenge your body, get out of your comfort zone, push yourself at least once or twice in a week.
Okay.
Apart, your focus should be hill runs. Your focus should be running fast for, let's say, intervals of 50 meters and then taking rest and repeating that process again and again. That would help. And then please do proper acclimatization before those runs. That is very important. Otherwise, the way oxygen hits you, you will not realize also, and suddenly you'll see all parameters falling.
Okay.
Acclimatization is critical.
Acclimatization. Do you recommend usage of, there is a particular mask available where it just reduces, where you can adjust the oxygen levels, which is available, maybe not in India, but outside. Do you recommend anything like that?
See, I've been going to Ladakh since 2015, and all those friends and people I know, especially Indians, they don't use any mask or anything.
Okay.
Right? And still, they all perform fairly well.
Yeah.
If we can afford those masks and oxygen tanks, because those foreigners who come there, and when we hear their stories, we just look at each other and say, what these guys have been practicing for, right? There are people who use, foreigners who use oxygen tanks for acclimatization. Oxygen tents, sorry, not tanks. They have tents. Yeah. So we heard it for the first time in Ladakh only. But point is, trust me, we all did better than also, and some of them did better than us also. Okay. So that's if somebody can afford certain things, but then also please be medically aware. When you put a mask on your face, you are also putting a lot of burden on your heart, right? Okay. So if you are heart patient, or if you have a BP or sugar, I wouldn't suggest any such experiment which may cause further trouble. So again, each individual is different, and you know your medical history best. Basis which try and speak to people and form a program which is fair to oneself.
Okay, fine. Well, let's have a few fun questions along the way. Sure. Okay. So do you like running alone or with friends?
Both. Weekends with friends, weekdays alone.
Diplomatic as usual. Which body part hurts the most while running ultra? Mind. Okay. I mean, I watched few videos of La Ultra. It seems that Maggi noodles, seems to be a favorite meal for many. I'm sure it is the same with you. But what's your favorite post-run meal after the race is over? What is the thing which you really want to eat after the race?
Parathas.
Okay.
So generally I have aloo parathas, and I'm a typical North Indian, so I want good parathas to be served.
Yeah, with desi ghee.
Oh, I would love them.
Okay. This is the question, is that if you're fully supported, okay, on a normal ground, not not Ladakh, how many days do you think you can run, and how many kilometers do you think you can run? Fully supported, just a guess.
I could not, in Bangalore 24-hour run stadium, I could not survive even 60 kilometers. So that was fully supported. So I gave up. I think I gave up at 50, did 10 more, so I couldn't even survive that much.
No, you did a last one standing for 200 plus kilometers for 30 hours. So I'm sure that was fully supported, right?
That was, yeah, they have their rules, but that is supported in the sense you can, during that loop, you can carry whatever you want to with yourself. There's no support which can be extended during the loop. But once you are back in the time frame, you have your crew there which can give you whatever you want.
Okay.
But so, last is a very different format. Last man standing is a very different format. And I must thank all the runners there. Actually, that it's a very good format, and kind of, energy is there on the ground. Okay. Not in the loop, but when you come back, because everyone's crew is clapping for you, they are motivating each other. So that's very infectious, right? So they don't let you stop, honestly. All the runners, and especially the crew, they are okay to drop dead, but they won't let you stop. So my 30 kilometers, I owe it to.
Hello? Yeah, I think we are a little off. I think maybe internet connectivity issues with Mandeep. We hope to have him back. But however, I would encourage everyone to post their questions now. So do post in your questions and let's see. I will have him back once he is back. So I hope you're enjoying the interview. Is there any questions you would like to ask? Please post in your questions. And I'm sure Mandeep will be back soon to join us for the interview. So question time. Before the question time, let me read some facts out of Mandeep so you all have a knowledge whom we are speaking. Yes, Last Man Stands was in this year, wherein he did around 200 kilometers. I think Mandeep is back. So I'll just add him to the stream. Hi.
My apologies. Yeah, my apologies.
No problem. It's okay. I think internet issue. So I'll just ask the audience to ask one question. So I got one question is this. How do you stay motivated when you don't want to run?
My co-runners don't let me stop.
So in a group is better?
In a group is much better. Okay. Group ensures a lot of discipline, honestly.
Okay. So we were in some fun questions. So fun questions was that, okay, during ultra marathons, I heard that you also have hallucinations, okay, when you are not sleeping, right? So which are your, can you remember any of your hallucinations and share with us what you hallucinated on a multi-day or, multi-day run?
Honestly, I never have had hallucination, but I can share one more secret. I walk in my sleep. So while I run, I also walk, keep on walking, and I also sleep at the same time.
That's a unique quality.
So at times I've fallen also because of that.
Okay.
Then somehow I'm able to sleep and walk. So that helps, but I will not recommend it to anybody else to try it.
Okay. Any stories you have heard of hallucination of other runners?
Oh, yes. So there are a lot of stories. People would see dog. People would see somebody telling them something, whereas the person does not exist.
Oh, okay.
So, right. And then last in 333, we saw one of our friends, close friends and co-runners who did 333, Ashish. So he just before 5 or 8 kilometers before the finish line, he thought his run is over.
Okay.
And you would have seen that finish. He finished that race just 30 seconds before the race.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, he started hallucinating his race is finished. And all his crew and everybody's just pulling his leg to party or to have a celebration at some 5 kilometers ahead. Thankfully, he regained good sense and then he could finish it in like Amitabh Bachchan would have done it just 30 seconds before. So we saw that one was something we saw very closely.
Okay, fine. So the person acts as if it's done, not ready to believe it's not over.
Yes, but then runners also are ready for hallucination. Let me honestly share with you, because as race directors,
yeah,
their focus is runners' safety, right? Yeah. So when we all talk before the race among ourselves, all the runners, we decide and we tell our crew also, if the race director is saying, where is the guy and this runner is hallucinating, you all also say you can see the guy. So that race director is proven wrong, right?
That's right. Any music choices while running?
No, I don't listen to music. I prefer staying in present, enjoying the moment.
Enjoying the moment. Okay. Any favorite shoes?
Okay, so can I give a big answer to the small question?
No problems.
See, it's one thing which I would say, running is a costly sport. Whoever takes to running, please do not start with the perception it is the most easiest of the sport. एक जोड़ी जूता ही तो चाहिए होता है. Those jutas, yes, those jutas are like monthly installments to you. At the end of the day, you'll start with 5,000, you'll go up till 20,000, and that hunger for shoes will never end.
Okay.
Right? And then you will have, go to any runner's house, you will have multiple shoes. It's not the one shoe can satisfy you. So see, there are no brand preferences. Over a period of time, you realize each feet is also different, as is each runner. So whatever suits your feet, go for it rather than brand. Don't get bogged down by brand or the cost of the shoe. There is no end to it, right? So for example, I get a lot of blisters in my feet.
Okay.
So of late, I've learned to live with blisters, irrespective of shoe brand. Right? Even the biggest brand does not claim that there would not be any injury, there would not be any blister. So it is a lot dependent on what is the runner's stride, which landscape we are running on, hills, desert. So please don't run after brands or anything. Whatever suits you, even canvas shoes, which we used to wear in schools. I've seen runners from very humble background and villages doing much far better than any one of us in those white PT shoes also.
Wow, that's nice. Okay. So next question is about, it's a question about, after experiencing all the extreme climates and low oxygen levels, you went to the desert to run. So you ran the Run the Run 2018, which is 80% trail, navigation with GPS. How was the experience?
Wonderful, because up till that time we have never had an experience of running with GPS.
Yeah.
Plus, we weren't, honestly, see, reading in books is one thing about that salty desert, right? But when you actually be there and you listen to the voice of sand cracking beneath your feet, and it's like a white bed sheet. Runners actually hallucinate there also at night because they see this white bed sheet is never ending.
Yeah,
that's a very wonderful route and beautifully organized race.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they haven't been having this event for past 2 years, if I'm right. But one of the very good events, and it's an experience in itself, because you have to go. That GPS is your lifesaver. Huh? If that conks off, you are out. And in that race, generally services people do well because they have a prior knowledge of operation of GPS.
Okay.
Because of their nature of duty, their training and nature of duty. So for us civilians, it takes some time to figure it out. But after that, the game is on. And it's a wonderful experience. That's one event any person wanting to do ultra should go and enjoy that event. Must participate.
That's nice. One question by Mr. Mufaddal Hararwala, who says that if a person says ultra running damages health, what would be your answer?
The answer is yes, if you were to ask me. Because finally the body is not used to that abuse. And whatever multi-day, multi-kilometers you run, finally we all end up abusing our body. And it takes almost something between 30 days to 3 months for body to come back to normal, right?
Okay.
So for those who want to be ultra marathon runners, please give enough time for recovery also. These runs might give you a lot of high, but rest is equally important. The more you rest, more your body will come back faster, recover faster. But yes, at the end of the day, we all end up that we start enjoying that suffering, honestly, if you were to ask me on a sadist level. and that suffering gives us some joy, right? It becomes a supper fest of
meditation in hell, right? So
yeah. So, but then yes, body is abused, no doubt about it.
Okay. When you look at it, how many days does it take for you for recovering after the 333?
I am a little lazy also. It took me 3 months.
Okay. Is that okay? Fine. So a couple of sub questions coming in. Any average weekly mileage for an ultra runner? I know it depends upon the race what you're trying. Let's say, let's take an example of the 333. Close to the race time. What should be your average mileage?
See, 333 is an extreme distance. So let's take 111. So
okay.
if you have to run 111 in Ladakh, average mileage should be somewhere from between 90 kilometers to 120 kilometers weekly at least.
Okay.
And obviously, close to runs, you need to taper down. Huh?
Close to
15 days before the run, withdraw, reduce your distances, let your muscles recuperate, gain strength, eat well, and go out and run. Have belief in your training.
Okay. One question I will just come from Mr. Kiranpal Singh Dodi. He's 65 years, and he's saying that would you suggest a senior marathon runner, which is like his age, to upgrade to ultra marathon running?
First of all, sir, thank you so much. You are an inspiration in yourself to a lot of runners in the country. So it's an honor to have you on live show, and thank you so much for your wishes. Sir, it all, again, as I said, it all depends on you. If you are feeling comfortable and you enjoy those runs, please graduate. But don't graduate for the sake of graduating. Because once you give a target to yourself, somewhere unconsciously you build up a lot of pressure internally within the body and mind. So please don't do any such thing. But yes, if your body allows, it gives you a lot of happiness, especially at your age. I would say don't enter into a competitive run, because in any case, in whichever category you will run, you will achieve something. But then enjoy that run, and if your body and health permits and mentally you are enjoying that, why not?
Okay. Thank you for that answer, Mandeep. My next question is about Brazil, 135. And you and two of your friends traveled all the way to Brazil to run. I saw some wonderful pictures, especially with the race director and how the race was. And I know that the race is wonderfully organized. The question is about the downhill portion or the descent portion of that race, which is around 28,000 feet. How was the experience of descending? My second question is, what are the common mistakes people do while going on a descent?
Brazil is a beautiful run, right? Only disclaimer is, once you get into ultra marathon, it all comes at a cost, and the costs involved are huge. So, right?
Yeah.
Descent there, see, that whole run is in trail, and it's a beautiful run. And descent there are pretty steep. So we enjoy them, but common mistakes or what should be done in descents is, please practice descent runs before you participate in any hill event. Get your body, legs used to descent, running down fast or running down. Use gravity to your advantage. Generally, as a rule, nobody gets injured while running uphill. And as an experience, we all can relate to that. You wouldn't have heard any runner getting injured while running an uphill. It's only downhill which causes injury, and especially to hamstrings or quads, because we put a lot of pressure, right? So practice is one thing. Second is, please use gravity. In your practice, start using gravity to your advantage. You need not push while running downhill. You have to use that terrain to help you run downhill. So once you start experiencing that, for example, Rajesh, you are in Bangalore, Nandi Hills is close by, right?
Yeah.
So you have good steep, start practicing running there. and always tell you I have to use gravity to my advantage. Once you start using gravity, you will realize without any effort, your pace will your pace would increase without any effort. And that is where it is helpful. Otherwise, hamstrings are the first casualty in running down.
In running down. Okay.
Yes.
So would stair running also help you if you want to practice uphill and downhill?
Yeah, anything which is closer to house. See, you need not look for hills or anything. Even over bridges would help you to run uphill and downhill, right?
Yeah.
Rule is simple. Whatever is close to house, whatever helps one to save time. You don't have to drive 20, 30 kilometers to go to a place to do something, because over a period of time, these models are not sustainable. Okay. What will stay with you is what you can do very easily, right? A group of friends which is close by, a terrain which is close by, stairs which are in the flats. Find out your own ways and you will find them. Stairs are beautiful if somebody can do it.
Okay, fine. That's nice. I know you are, you don't talk much about your podium finishes, but I have to ask a question. Of the podium finishes you have done or you got till now, any favorites?
Rajesh, again, you have been very kind. I hardly have any podium finishes. I am a runner by hobby. But then first one is always sweet, so Javadu will remain close to the heart.
Okay, fine. That's nice. And then you got the podium finish in Bhatti Lakes Ultra, which is second podium finish, and also La Ultra also, right?
La Ultra, I was just lucky. Credit goes to my team and my fellow runner Munish.
Okay.
I'll tell you. See, I'll narrate a short story if you have time.
Sure.
See, not many people know the kind of camaraderie and brotherhood we developed during running. So in La Ultra, me and Munish, we were always together, right? And he would have saved 3-4 hours if he would have left me at any point in time during the race.
Okay.
But then, since we had always practiced together, and even Praveen for that matter, but he was in 2:22, and Munish was almost, if I rightly remember, an hour before me, and he was very close to finish line, and he stopped and sat down there. He said, let Mandeep come and we'll finish it together. So not many people have that kind of sportsman spirit, right? Especially in today's world where we all are running after accolades and podiums. So that is something, these are the bonds which we develop as a runner, and which not the story, these are untold stories of behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So how many runners or how many friends would actually stop when they are about to make a history and wait for a fellow runner to come and join so that they both can finish together. So this is something phenomenal, and this is what ultra running has taught us all.
Okay. So there's one. Thank you for that. I'm sure. I hope Munish is tuned in and hearing you say that. But I'm sure he knows from his heart what he has done. One question on ultra running is that ultra runners don't do anaerobic training. They do, zero anaerobic training. Any advice for them?
Please include anaerobic training in your formats, whatever. So when I spoke about lung capacity to process oxygen, it's all about anaerobic training, right? Sprints, intervals, hill runs, these are all anaerobic. Until unless you do them, start with only once in a week, but finally your lungs have to accept they'll need to expand a lot to process oxygen, right? The more you do, you're making your body comfortable with that process.
Strength training, how important it is for ultra runners?
Okay, first disclaimer is I hardly do strength training. Over a period of time, see, there is no dearth, right? What is important, what is not important, but over a period of time, you realize what works for you as an individually.
Yeah.
So yes, when you start running, first year you get the best results in terms of incremental improvement. Yeah. Second year, you still improve. Third and fourth year, you try and you hit the wall kind of thing. And then you say from where the next improvement would come, even you don't know. You want to change coach, you want to change group, right? Similarly, it holds true for strength training. See, here again the fundamental question is, are you a runner by hobby or are you a competitive runner? If you are a competitive runner, then yes, you must have strength training come what may, because finally it has to be a combination of strength, running and rest, which will get you medals,
Okay.
right? But if you are a runner by hobby like me, who has to go to office, who has a family, who has everything, so there's only 24 hours in a day.
Okay.
Over a period of time, you would know what would work for you and what you need to do. So please do it accordingly. So there are no rules, strength is must or not must, depending on what suits you. Please do that.
Okay. One question which has come on recovery in terms of nutrition. Any food which is there which will help you in recovery after a race?
Yeah, eat a lot of protein. So if you are a vegetarian, eat paneer, eat a lot of green vegetable pulses, right? If you are a non-veg, eat eggs, eat a lot of non-veg food. And as a rule, within half an hour of your run, especially practice and training runs, you should eat something. Most of the people, especially runners who run by hobby, they don't eat. They go home, get busy with the household work, and 1 hour would go by, 1.5 hours would pass, and they wouldn't have eaten anything because they're so busy with the household, or with children, with going to office, cooking meal, and whatever the daily course of life. Please reach home, take your bath, and eat. That will help you, one, to recover, and two, not being cranky.
Okay, fine. So we have finished 1 hour, Mandeep. We spoke for 1 hour now. It's amazing.
Yeah, that went off very fast. Yeah, 1 hour just passed by.
Absolutely, yes. So any final advice you want to give to all the viewers out here on running and ultra marathon, especially on ultra marathons, you can please give.
Enjoy your runs, take it step by step. It's always gradually you reach certain milestones, and time will come. Have patience, believe in your training, eat well, recover well. Sleep is very important, and in our today's lifestyle, we all miss on sleep part, right?
Okay.
We get up early, we wake, we work late, but please give your body adequate rest, and body will give you those signals. Please learn to observe your body and figure out if something is wrong. Step back. You won't, one day of missed training would not, you won't miss anything. But one day of overtraining will lead to injury for sure.
Okay.
So don't do those things. And at the end of it, running is a costly sport. So please invest accordingly. Don't run after brands and watches and gadgets. Just enjoy nature. Just be thankful you have lovely group, people to talk to, and enjoy that company. I think that's more than what I could say.
There are two fun questions which have just come up. Sorry, just a few more minutes.
Sure.
Mr. Satish Gujaran, who has run 10 consecutive Comrades. Comrades run in South Africa, is asking you this question: when are you running Comrades?
Okay, so I'll tell you one more untold story, right? So last year, I think, in fact, 4 of us paid the fees, registered ourselves, and then this 333 happened. So we had to choose between the one, and we chose 333. So I don't know. So as I said, these are like sorting hats of Harry Potter, right? So we chose Comrades, but Comrades did not choose us.
Okay.
So maybe sometime in future it's in the wish list. But right now, it's Badwater is next in line. So we were shortlisted for Badwater this year because event could not happen. We'll participate next year. So maybe Comrades will follow after that.
Okay, I'm sure Mr. Satish Gujaran is eagerly looking forward to seeing you there. And one last question is by Mr. Subodh Yadav. He said, when are we running together?
So Subodh Yadav is a runner par excellence in himself, right? And he goes by the short name Sky. So Sky is the limit. Whenever you call Subodh, I'll come.
Okay, Subodh, I hope you got the answer. And so I think that brings an end to our interview. I thank you very much for joining in. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you many more successes together, and many more runs and many more miles in years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. Likewise for having me here, and it was such a pleasure to talk to you. All the
Thank
best.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So yes, that's an end to this interview. Be tuned for an announcement that is the next Friday Run Together run interview is with a very senior coach, a person who has ran with the great Shivnath Singh and trained with them. And the coach's name is Mr. Prabhakar Rao, who was actually from railways, and he was an excellent runner, and now he trains marathoners. So the next Friday, please tune back again to our channel and get your training questions answered, especially on running, nutrition, strength, speed. We have a coach coming in, and please do tune in. So see you all on for next Friday. And in August, we are having a wonderful series of interviews, which is basically the Army series. And we got people from the Armed Forces runners coming in to making it a month for Armed Forces. And we got one more surprise coming in August 15th, which is a highly motivational runner coming in. So thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. I've also started a YouTube channel under the same name. So this video will also be posted there for you to view it in your free time. Do like and subscribe, and thank you for coming. God bless you all. So thank you very much, and I'm going to end this broadcast. And tomorrow I have a run coming in, so hopefully I can do it, a long run day. Thank you very much. Bye.